We're becoming one. I prayed for a man with heaven in his eyes, blue-eyed devotion, fire in his smile. He pulls me close and my fear lets go. He loves me deep like I've never known. He's strong in his spirit, soft in his touch. He kisses me slowly and I feel his love. He makes me feel like a queen, I make him feel like a king. This is more than just desire, this is everything. We're becoming one, body to body, soul to soul. We're becoming one, losing nothing, gaining all. He heals my heart and I heal his too. This is divine love making us new. We're becoming one, in the dark, in the light, in the fire. We're becoming one, taking each other higher.
Hollie and Johnny here again, and today we're actually going to explore some of the traps that we've found are easy to fall into when you're on a spiritual journey. So we're going to dabble into what this healing path and being on a healing path can actually get you stuck in a place where you are protecting yourself from happiness.
Yeah. Johnny and I were just talking about how, well, my 3-year-old went with his father today, and at first he didn't want to, but then he ended up being okay with it. And I started crying and saying, oh, I'm gonna miss him. I'm worried about him having abandonment issues because his mommy isn't there. And Johnny pointed out to me,
Well, he doesn't have that experience. He doesn't have the experience that you have had with a mother who was abandoning her, who pushed dad out of your life, used you against him in that dynamic there, and you're afraid of making your kids feel abandoned.
yeah.
And so it's, in a way, it almost seems like you're reliving the abandonment every time the kids have to spend time with the dad. And it's like, that's not their experience. That's not what they're going through.
So I'm projecting my pain onto them. And
you have no control over not being able to be around them 24/7. So
right.
you're putting yourself through abandoning yourself.
Yes.
Over and over again every time.
And that's why it's sad for me, because I feel like I'm being abandoned myself, and that they're feeling abandoned, when really it's probably not that extreme. And I feel like we all do that. And then I told Johnny, wow, this conversation has sparked some inspiration within me, and it's helping me rethink my world. And I said, I just need to write. And so as I was writing, I discovered that when traumatic things happen to us as children, we create a room to deal with that problem. And then there's another problem, so you create another room. And then it's like you create all these rooms to fix that problem at that time. And then, but like the doors to those rooms stay open and energy goes in and out of those rooms. You have one big room, and then it's like I started writing about how we are all one, and it's like we are all one as when we come into this world, we're these perfect beings that are coming straight from God, and then we become imperfect because of our environment being imperfect, and because of dealing with our environments, we created all these rooms that don't have necessarily positive things. Maybe some of them do, but most of the things that we hold on to that affect us are negative, it seems like, and it's because we have just gotten so many rooms and so many doors, and it's like the fan in the background, it's always running, and you don't even notice that it's still running after a while, because
until you can turn it off,
until you can
and hear
stop like all the distractions,
open a window and hear all the stuff that's actually going on.
Yeah,
instead of
open the
static.
window to the world, right, and turn off the fan, but you have, in order to even know that the fan is running after it running for so long, is for you to quiet down with yourself with meditation. I've realized that's why meditation is so important, because it helps you realize that there are thoughts, there are emotions, and we are not the thoughts or the emotions, and the situations that happen are just situations, and we add so much meaning
Yeah,
to
and I
situations.
think that that's the beauty with kids, is that as the adults we get to shape the energy and the story of anything and everything that kid is going through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all about the story you tell yourself, like just like when your youngest will fall or something, it can either be, oh, I'm so sad with you and I'm traumatized that you fell, and then it gets amplified, or you can talk about, oh, that must have hurt. You're so tough. Look at how tough you are. You just stood right back up. Not every kid is as tough as you are. If they've fallen, they might have just cried and wouldn't know what to do. Like how you tell the story is everything, and we've got to teach them to tell their story correctly.
Yes. And I feel, and what I also, yeah, exactly. And when we don't have direction like that, we lose ourselves in the pain. Like I feel, as a child, my mom was so negative, and she didn't have direction herself, and so I was just afraid of her, so I just kind of became whatever emotion she had. I was on that ride with her, and I just decided to just become whatever she is so that I could protect myself. And then I held on to all those stories that she had and that she and I had between ourselves, and the negative things that she told me. And she also taught me some really good things, but I'm realizing how those things have kept me, I've kept those rooms open, and I'm realizing I need to tear down all these walls that I created, because now I have Johnny's love, who loves me unconditionally, and I'm realizing that when we can give ourselves unconditional love, that's when you start to see that like when someone else gives you unconditional love, you start to be able to see all the places you've not given yourself unconditional love, because you thought you weren't lovable because of different traits that you had that you would get in trouble for. And instead of being heard and understood, you got dismissed and you weren't listened to, or whatever it was. I was taught that my feelings and emotions didn't matter, and they really do. I always just thought only my mom's emotions mattered, because it had to be her way or the highway, and as long as she was happy, then I was safe. And for all you people out there who've had abusive parents, I feel like that is the key when you've been abused, is that you do matter and that your feelings matter, and it's that those feelings are telling you that those are your boundaries, and you got used to silencing your boundaries, and you numbed things, and you made things okay that really were not okay. Like Johnny, I'm like, oh yay, my mom's birthday, I told her happy birthday, and she replied, and I was like, oh, my mom replied, and he said,
I read the message, and it was like, because you mentioned that I came across today a bunch of notes that you'd written me, Mom, and
they were sweet, and they made me happy.
And so the response was, oh, thanks for the happy birthday, that's nice you kept those. So I mowed the lawn and had to weed eat. I'm done for the day. Like, brushing you off. Like, that's great. I don't have time to even text you, so.
And I thought it was sweet that she messaged me.
It's all the story you're telling, I guess. Yeah.
And because, well, and the thing is, with his point, I feel like is saying, like, at the time, I was getting nuggets of love, like, and that was my expectation for love, and why I had to go through some bad partners in order to let go of the ways that my mom used to treat me. Those men had to treat me the same way so that I could move beyond those patterns. I had to be done enough with those patterns that I was wanting to change them or do something different. But really what I realized is I feel like healing these things and knowing these things is really important and good to know, because then at least you know what's happening, and you can make your thoughts more pleasant when you can face yourself in those ways. But what I'm also realizing is really none of it even matters.
Well, don't put it on other people too.
Yes,
don't assume that they've got the same trauma as you is, and that you're telling a story for them in your mind too, because then you'll never really be present with the person and understand them. You've got to just, and whether it's a kid or an adult, I mean, is you got to pay attention to what's going on and help them tell a better story if they need one.
Right, absolutely. Reform things.
Because my mom was kind of the opposite of yours. Like you were caught up in her waves of emotion, whereas I think my mom got caught up in just being overwhelmed with 3 kids at home, and if we were arguing or just being rowdy or something, that was just too much stress for Mom, and she got caught up in the wave of us fighting if we were arguing or something. And so it would ruin her day, or she'd start crying and have a breakdown. And then we'd just, as kids, be like, because we're over it. Whatever her trauma was and what she's going through is her own thing. And we're just like, fine. We're like, Mom's kind of past time. Maybe we went too far.
Yeah.
That was about it, I couldn't tell you one fight that I'd even had with my sisters or anything.
That's a good point. So it's like you guys had each other to lean on and develop your own personalities, and
don't let your past or other people influence your emotional state if possible. If so, make it a choice, not a tidal waves of emotion that come flood over you and knock you over, because that's what they've always done to me. And I'm just now the whole care but not that much thing, which is apparently the key to manifesting too, is care but not that much.
Yeah, trust. And really all of that is important, and also it doesn't matter in a way, because we're not our stories regardless. We're not any of it. We are, when you rip away the story, the thoughts, the emotions, what we have left is the energy field, or God, oneness, and
The divine spirit of light within you, the soul.
yes, and as long as we watch ourselves and realize that we are the watcher, and we can be however we want to be, but really closing all of the lies down and realizing that the story isn't us, and that we're bigger than that, and that every one of us really, really matters, because every one of us is a piece of God, and every one of us is one. We just have to knock down the walls.
And like all the people in the, spiritual leadership of the last 50 years all says those same things. Tony Robbins, Dolores Cannon, you are the writer, the director, the actor
of your life.
of your life. It's your story.
Yeah. And we can tell it however we want, and we can change it whenever we want. We have the
Yep.
power. It's just realizing that we're stuck in loops. Until you can realize you're stuck in loops, it's really, you're just gonna let life happen to you. And
Yeah.
and we all do that as humans. We're so
Yeah.
guilty of that. Of course, all of us are. But we're learning to just be aware, and to try to just stay one with God, and let God be our servants, and share what truth we know with everyone, so that they can find their own truth too. And that's all we're doing, and we're really grateful for all of you.
Absolutely.
Was there anything you wanted to add?
No, I just was reminded of that. I love that interview that Timothy Chalamet did, where they're asking him about Dune and the idea of fate. Does he believe in fate? And he says, "Oh, it's a really good question. Yes, I do. I believe that we can be the masters of our own fate, the captains of our soul. But we have to realize that life is happening for us, not to us. And that takes time."
Yes. And one more quote on that note that goes right with it is what we were just saying, is observe the space between thought, and then observe the observer, and in that field from nothing you can create anything.
It's beautiful. We love you guys.
Love you. I hope this helped us today. Love
wanted
you
to share.
all.
Peace.